Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Park Hyo-jin from Clarivate. I am an analytics on the life sciences. I'm a consultant now, so I'm going to give you what we can expect from the biotherapeutics technologies and the current research trends, as well as the future prospects. Clarivate must not be familiar to you. If you may not know my company, I'd like to give you a brief introduction. If you are an academic person in the industry, impact factor and the note must be the products you must be familiar or you must put your hands on. So we are managing those products. And also in terms of the life science, we also have our services provided in the name of Cortelix and DIG. We also have something related to the IP as well. That is represented by Derwent as well as Dart's IP. So these are our portfolio, and also we recently acquired a ProQuest as a product. So all these are the suite of our products that can be available to you. So if you are interested in these, please contact us later. This is my agenda today. First of all, I'm going to talk about the drug treatment. Every year we have a brochure or a booklet that are provided to you. So you can have the list of the products that are promising and noticeable for your practices, and also this provides you the overview of the horizontal products. And also we have the report on discussing these matters as well. In addition to that, we also have the impact factor, which is for the Nobel Prize awards. And also we have the highly impactful list of the companies in the pharmaceuticals. So we are very keen at finding out the final list of the companies that can be very promising in the market. So you can download our lists and the brochures free of charge from our website. Please visit our website. Now, next for the oncology, we do have the oncology version of ASCO July this year. So the oncology research will be our product. So from the ASCO 2021, which is American Society of Clinical Oncology, we have the suite of products that are presented there. And also we have the list of the technologies that are relevant to us for the future. So we do have some kind of examples of that can be viewed to you. Third and the last one is something that attracts your interest most. That's about the NASH, non-alcoholic status, the hepatitis. So we have some market that wants to go for the NASH treatment. So we have some products that are treating these NASH symptoms, and that can be represented in my presentation with some examples. First of all, let me go over the major treatments for the therapeutics. As for the therapeutics, we do have a list of all the different possible treatments. The first and foremost one is the cell and gene therapy. Starting from 2011 up until 2020, we have the number of the papers in the academic field with the increasing ratio of 62%. For example, it was 2,933 in 2011 that went up to 4,753 in 2020, as counted by our website that are run by our organization. So this is the increase that we are seeing now. So number of trials that is underway is 4,539, which is also increasing over time. It means that the active participation has been made on this cell and gene therapy as well as other treatments. And also we have the 4,539 cases of the clinical studies. If you see the companies with big names on the right side, we have those companies with the track records here. So some of you must be very familiar to you, like Janssen is here and Allogene is here, which are doing very fast activities on developing these therapeutics. Now let's go over to targeted agents. We used to have only 84 papers in 2011 published, but that number increased to 146 in 2020. So that's an increase of 193% CAGR, and we have 276 cases of clinical trials which are underway. Now for the targeted targeted agents clinical trials, and we have 276 trials, as I mentioned, and there are many others, not just for the targeted agents. We have EGFR, epidermal growth factor receptor, which is the target of many of the other papers. That was one example of that. That is 276 one, and also we can see many more other topics that can be innumerable here. So these are also on the right corner, key companies that are in line with that. So we can see many of the big name pharma companies. Now for the oncology. According to ASCO 2022, which was attended by my company as well, many oncology therapeutics were released. I'm not going to talk about the oncology today because we have another session next month to talk about the oncology products. So we do have the report in the written form. If you want to get hold of it, just come to us next month so that you can get the download to you. Out of that, antibody drug is the most representative ones with two examples. The first one, these are very conspicuous. The first one is ADC, antibody drug conjugates. As you might know very well, this is based on the oncology and has the payload products with the small molecules attached, targeting carcinogens to lead to the death of the cells. This antibody drug conjugates had the increase of the number of papers published starting from 2011 to 2021 at the rate of 454%. On the right side, you have the number which is increasing. So this year alone is a drop of the number because we are in the process of collecting the papers. So we have the 423 trials that are underway. Next one is the antibody drug conjugates topics. So most of them have obviously oncology-based papers and pharmacology as well. So back there, we must not be able to read the paper here, but the VOD materials will be provided to you later, so you can just check these themes here. Hematology is also included in this list. So this is a picture and map of what we are working on. Next one is bispecific antibodies. That's also the technology that is very noticeable following the ADC. Starting from 2011, we were able to see the increased ratio of the papers published up until 2021 at the rate of 496%. We do have now 406 clinical trials underway. We are still seeing some work in process in this year. That's why we see a lower percentage this year alone, but it has been increasing over time. And we also have 2 additional ones that are added. And theoretically speaking, we have the very good affinity and very good therapeutic effects. In some cases, that's the terminologies that were used in those papers. But actually, biology defies theory from time to time. So we believe that we have to be able to find the very potent and effective targets that we can develop down the road. When we combine them together, we have to be able to find the antibody that works the best. And that is our goal. So oncology and immunology are most representative ones, and also it can lead to the hematology. That is the subject of very active participation of the researchers. So these are the formulations that have been under study for long. Maybe I can find another opportunity next month to give you detailed information about these things. Going further a little bit off the core, I'd like to talk about NASH as well. the reason why I jumped from oncology to NASH is because when we look at our pipeline, some of our clients want to push their boundaries of the future horizons, and they want to go for NASH. We have to look into their reasons why they really want to go for NASH as well, because we see some connections between the two. On the right corner, you can see the number of drug-treated patients. So this is across the major markets. These graphs show the record of 2020. So starting from 2020, we have the 250,000 patients under treatment. It shows the number. Up until 2030, we might have 3 million patients in aggregate form. That is our expectation. The statistics came from the United States. But across the world, at the bottom of the screen, we have the same trend observed in Japan and the EU. That can be happening in the future. As of now, NASH market doesn't have or few treatments that are registered in the market. Most of them are off-label. So mostly they are using the treatment anti-diabetic therapies to treat this symptom of NASH. But starting from 2027, we will see the different picture, because we believe that there must be some other major players in the market later. These formulations will be working on the NASH later on. For example, the biggest one is GIF one, and the next one will be the THR beta agonists, and they will be the major players as we expect. I told you that many companies are interested in NASH as the second choice after the oncology, and NASH's popularity, I believe, is because of the growing market to a great degree. We all are also observing the increasing ratio of the obese people. I myself am a very obese person. My BMI number is over 30. If you are over 27 in your BMI, be careful, because you are subject to the treatment of the obesity from the doctor. Maybe you have the prescription drugs for your obesity, so don't be worried so much. Then going on a diet, you can be treated with the doctor's prescription. So what you're looking at here is GFI1 and receptor agonists here. So androgen receptor agonist here is by 2031. We have the GLP receptor agonist market trend. So more of the half will be taken by these. So it means that these technologies are quite promising. So we have the THR beta agonist, and if you want to go for the parent, that will be for the THR, and if you want to go for the insulin, that is for the GLP-1s. You can be interested in that. So in 2007, we didn't have any market for NASH. NASH was not directly treated. NASH was treated off-label with the other indications like diabetes and so on. It says 90% here, but overall it can be 100% off-label if you combine every other prescription here. So this is for the first in class, and also we can say that best in class sometimes better than the first in class. In this specific market as well, we see a lot of developments going on. It seems like small with the number 130, but this 130 something, 103 something means that they are very, very active in the pipeline. They are visible in the pipeline. So the 136 are observed in the database, and also they are phase 2 and 3, so they are just halfway all the way through. So many of the companies and many of the trials have failed already, especially in the phase of the discovery, drug discovery. Also in the phase 2, I see some failures because of the lack of efficacy. Sometimes companies drop out because of their financial situations or many other reasons. And I see some of these terminations or suspensions of these activities of the clinical trials. Sometimes if they have the very good not very good effect because when they have to drop out. So if they had the really good efficacy, they would not have dropped out. That's what I mean. And also we have a selection of the top ranking ones as of July. So this must be very familiar to you. If you are working on the diabetes, the Lilly's logo in red color means very much to you. So you might be surprised to see this logo as well. Lilly is really a strong company, right, in terms of this diabetes. And also they had another approval in July this year with these new formulations. That's for the type 2 DM. As of July this year. And this report was published November last year. When at that time, this new product was not approved, had not been approved. So we only had the 95% of the success ratio, and we expected that to be approved in August this year. But actually, it was approved in May in the United States, much earlier than our expectation. And then until 2026, they have the 5.4 billion US dollars as their expected revenues. That will be a high-flying cash cow. In case of Lilly, for now, since it was approved in May this year, it's not yet in the market, but when it is distributed across the market starting from 2023, they will be selling very well. I just jumped from NASH to DM, right? DM2, diabetes. The reason why I jumped from there to here is because in case of these drugs, the products is really good for the obesity as well. This product has been effective because it has been prescribed for a long time, and especially in Gangnam area in Seoul, the liraglutide was prescribed for the female patients in their middle ages, and Saxenta was the name of the brand, and they really were used for their diets. So that's then related to this formulation, and also GLP-1 receptor agonist, and also it's GLP agonist as well. This is dual inhibitor under new classifications. So the effect of these formulations, according to Lilly's clinical trial report, we have the product coming from Novordisk, and we have semaglutide, which has been already approved. Liraglutide is once a day for injection, but semaglutide is subject to the once a week injection. So after this, it has the 20% in efficacy higher than the one according to Lilly. So Lilly's product is more potent in terms of the efficacy. So we have to just confirm it later when the products are out in the market by listening to it. However, in itself is quite amazing. Now this is the semaglutide, and this is from the Nordisk. So I believe that this product will be available in the Korean market next year, in summer next year. So that will be also a big hit in the diet market in Korea, because the threshold for these prescription drugs for the diets is quite low in Korea, so that will be surely available for the market here. There was a drop of the revenues a little bit. It was like 2015 or so. The reason 2005, sorry, then that was because of the product in 2027, and also that will be expected because of the trend there. With the metformin, it can be a combination therapy that can have the better effect. The report says that it has the better efficacy from Lilly's, and the Lilly's competition might frighten them away a little bit. But I believe that both of them are quite good, because as we witnessed in the past with the DM therapeutics, subcutaneous injection was done. Subcutaneous injection requires once a day injection, but semaglutide and tirzepatide has very long half-life, so it requires the injection only once a week. Also, depending on the patient, it might be different, but on the average, you ought to have only just once a week treatment. to have the treatment, whether it's diabetes or the obesity. Now, with the two products in the market at the time of this year or next year, that will be also creating the market for obesity. So this graph is about the obesity. So by 2026, we expect that the market grow by 3 times. We see bigger population who are obese, and also ultimately, directly and indirectly, the NASH market can be covered here. So we see the direct increase, and at the same time, we see indirect increase of that as well. That's why I added obesity here. These products are already marketed after being approved, so your interest is highly encouraged to look at these two. So these two are having the GLP receptor agonist and GLP agonist as well. Now we have the percentage of the products by formulation. GLP receptor agonist will be going up off level, however will go down a little bit. So depending on your symptoms, you can find the best combination of the prescriptions. According to the current trend of the market, the unmanagement is also found in here. When it comes to disease awareness, in Korea, for example, very frankly, it's much higher than the phase 2. Whenever I visit my client companies, they always come up with the idea of NASH. Never had been a case that they didn't. And also high awareness is quite visible here in Korea, especially for this. And the rest of them has very lower awareness. The fibrosis, it can be another option to be interested in. So when it comes to NASH, if you're interested, please contact us so that we can provide you more information and we can have further talks with you. Personally. This is about the market overview of the NASH treatments. I've been talking about the upload, and also I can tell you also about the future overview. So some of the products are in the early development phase. For example, we have number 1 alkaline receptor. Number 2 is tumor necrosis factor receptor, superfamily member 1A. This is quite a long name. And this is also in the pipeline. So this is for the early development phase. So the mechanism is as follows. And if you have the FPGA here, so that is interlinked to ultimately to G-alpha specific peptide, which is called GPCI receptor connection. And also this is linked with this lines coming forward. The next one is a really novel target. So we have this genetic evidence, and it also was published in a paper. So we also have the targets according to that. Number 1 is interferon lambda 3. It used to be interleukin beta 3. That target has been under study, especially when it comes to NASH. If you have the tripartite or semaglutide to be approved for the treatment of NASH, combination therapies can be used for this, not with the peptidformin. So it can be subject to the combination therapy to have the efficacy, because anti-drug therapies are mostly come with the combination therapies. This can be also subject to that as well. So if you look at this, we started with the interleukin 28, and then also it has the impact on to the JAK-ZK, and also you can have the impact on the 6 as well. So I believe that this kind of mechanism will be drawn like this with impacts that are possible in this direction. We do not have many things to disclose at the moment, but only thing I can tell you is that we have this kind of mechanism for you to understand. So for the public utilities and to have the social service, we are disclosing this information. This is the least I can do for you. And these targets can be in your consideration for the future if you are interested. So far, I have given you a lot of information information. Most of the data came from our internal documentation, because the comparative intelligence, or DRG, that we have are the forms that we can provide you to contain information. All the data that we have can be available to you after VOD is out. So you can have free access to it. If you need more, always contact me. Don't hesitate to call us so that we can give you more data and information. Thank you very much. Any questions, please? Now is the time for you to ask your questions. If you don't, if you're shy enough, then please take the QR code to write your questions. We'll be very quick to answer yours. Yes, you have. For the obesity, the treatments for obesity are out in the market continuously. When it comes to the food supplements, we also see a lot of them in the market available now. They're marketed. So between the food and the treatments, are they competing or complementing each other? Well, I should be very cautious in answering that question, because most of the medications are interrelated with the food and food supplements as well, right? So when we have the approval, we have to go to the MFDS, which is dealing with the food and drugs at the same time. So I believe that out of common sense, the combination will be effective. But there's one thing that worries me. For the obesity, the treatments of obesity like semaglutide or tirzepatide, they inhibit the appetite for the people. So their amount of consumption, food consumption, goes down dramatically, leading to the weight loss. So foods that can lead to the weight loss can be less consumed by the patients. So that's the kind of factor we have to consider. So if we just think that these two go together, I don't think it is the right thing, because there can be adverse events as well. All these medications are not for everybody, of course. Some people have some adverse effects, like events like the acne or the vomits, nausea, and so on. The clinical indication says that they have constipation to a great degree, because less consumption of food leads to constipation mostly, and also toxicity inside the body will go up. So if you're not really fit for these kind of medications, you have to go for food. If you are really having a good fit with the drugs, because you haven't had any constipation in your life, medications are really good for you, because I can recommend these medications to those kinds of people. Those people who have not had any constipation in life are not normally obese, therefore they do not need this kind of medications. That's the irony. So I believe that these two are complementary rather than competitive, to give you my answer generally. The food and the drugs. 2 minutes are left. If you have further questions later, or if you think of your questions abruptly, so use the QR code, take one, and leave your questions there. We'll come back to you later within 24 hours. Thank you very much for the reference. Thank you very much for your patience.